Hello, everyone. Welcome to Simutech Multimedia's unveiling of the all-new Simutech Training System. I'm Deborah Shad, Marketing Communications Manager for Simutech Multimedia. Thanks for joining us today. We are very excited to show you Simutech Multimedia's new system. After a lot of hard work, we really feel this will transform the way you'll learn with us in the future. Before I introduce our presenter today, I wanted to go over some housekeeping items. We will be taking your questions today, so please get them ready. And if you haven't already submitted them, please submit them at the Q&A section at the bottom of your screen. If for some reason, if we don't get to your question today, we will follow up with you personally. This presentation is being recorded, and you will receive a link to view a recording at your convenience. And just as a reminder, we have a lot of great information at our website, including our weekly Troubleshooting Thursday blog posts, as well as white papers and other great information. So now I'd like to introduce our presenter today. He's Samer Forsley, CEO of Simutech Multimedia, and he'll be walking us through the new training system and giving us a look at all the new features. So I am happy to turn the presentation now over to Samer.
All right, thank you, Deborah, and thanks everyone who joined us today. And I'm going to share my screen in a second. But before I do, again, like Deborah mentioned, if you have any questions, please shoot them right away. You don't have to wait until the end. I'll try to address them as we come along. Today, we were supposed to show you our new training system. I'm going to do that, but I also wanted to take a couple of minutes before I do that and after to talk about how we got to that training system and where we're going from here. More of a business update and a roadmap. So I will be doing that over the next 20 minutes or so. So I'm hoping everybody can see my screen. And so I'm going to start my slide deck. For those of you who are on the line and are our customers, thank you for your business. We appreciate it. For those who are joining us for the first time, just quickly, we've been around for 23 years. Many global customers and thousands of customers that we service on a given day, including schools as well. And we help them train the electrical maintenance staff, troubleshoot effectively and safely. So think of us as a simulation software, like a video game with 300 different scenarios or faults. And we give all the data that we can collect as far as we can in the software to allow you to assess and allow you to monitor the staff's progress. So that's kind of the quick summary of Simutech. But I want to kind of take a minute and talk about how we got here. So in 1998, the euro was born. During that year, the Unabomber was sentenced. And that was the last time we saw Seinfeld. GDP in the US was $12 million, and we released our first module ever, which was TMC. That was on CD. We shipped it out, and I was talking to our founder Warren this week, and we were joking about how many times we had errors because people did not even have a sound card in their computer. And so it was kind of a bit of a blast from the past, and that was fun to kind of go over. We did a few core modules since then. That's our control circuit and electrical circuit module, assembled that as our core offering to the market. And then in 2010, that's when we freed the Chilean miners from that mine. If you remember the BP oil rig explosion off the southern coast of the US, the Hurt Locker won the Oscar that year, and GDP did jump quite a bit. But that year we also released our STM, and that was an important step for us because that is when data became important for everyone to train. Before that, modules existed alone. People trained with them, and that was good. But people started asking, what do I do with data, and how do I actually use data to train our people? So we released our STM. In 2011, Osama bin Laden paid the final price. Kate married Harry, and the Packers won the Super Bowl. If you're a Packers fan, that was a good day. But we also released PLC, and in a way that kind of was all about the automation trend taking over on assembly lines. And we wanted to make available to our customers a way to teach how to troubleshoot PLCs and how to deal with automation. In 2014, we had the Crimea problems, of course. One World Trade Center opened to the world, and 12 Years a Slave won the Oscar that year. Again, a big jump in GDP. The economy was growing, not necessarily at the same pace as before, but things were moving. But that's when we released what we call Transit, and Transit was our way to saying workforce is now mobile and people can train from anywhere. So we started putting some of that data in the cloud, allowing people to install things anywhere they wanted. So we kind of freed up the training from the school setting or from the factory setting or the training room setting. And then in 2017, of course, SpaceX and Brexit were there. economy was growing again. But that's when we released our Spanish, because there was a lot of demand from US-based customers, to be honest with you, who had factories in Mexico, but also from Europe, to allow training in Spanish. And we refreshed the look and feel of all our modules. And we got to 2018, and then the question, what next, right? So in 2018, there was 3 core challenges facing our customers. One is the severe skills gap. I'm not sure if you saw the most recent study by Deloitte. Is 2.8 million skilled labor jobs that are not going to be filled over the next few years. And that's a problem. We're trying to help fix that. There's a new generation joining the workforce. So there's the millennials, but of course there's Gen Zers who are joining the workforce very soon. And that's also at the same time when we have this gray wave where the boomers are retiring and walking out with all that knowledge in their head, but also for whoever is staying a bit extra, they're facing an avalanche of automation. And how can we help bridge that gap for those who are there? So what does that mean for us anyways, and where we actually go from here? We're trying to fix that severe skill gap and help companies. So we're introducing a lot of assessment. Our modules now, I'm sure it happened in the past, but now even more so, you can create a test and send it to someone where they can get assessed before they even show up to the interview. And that's a cool thing because you don't have to spend the time to actually interview them and take time out of HR and out of the maintenance manager's day. But also you are trying our best to get that knowledge transferred and employees onboarded much faster so they can become productive right away. Again, we have a new generation, and like I said, with the millennial and maybe Zers soon joining the workforce, they want a custom experience. It's not like one thing that fits everyone, and they want it to be multi-platform. They want to be able to train at home or at work. Okay, but they also want it to be immersive, and they want some competition in there, so they want it to be gamified. So we're trying to our best to address that requirement. And for the gray wave, how do we get that information transferred as soon as we can, but also help them deal with Internet of Things and manufacturing 4.0 and robotics and automation? And so that's where we're going. The road ahead and what next year looks like for us, well, is what we call the SDS. And the cool thing about the SDS, which I will show you soon, is our new training system. It's if you've been our customer before, you had 6 modules you had to deal with and install. Now everything is one simple module that gives you control over you can quickly access your admin side of the equation and adjust things, but also allows you to quickly see what training you have, where you are in that training, and how you actually assess it. We're gonna split the year. Let's give or take in 3 chunks. In the first chunk, we're gonna move our course manager, as we call it today. We're gonna call it the admin portal in the future, and move it completely to the cloud. And at the same time, release a new module, which is our PLC analog inputs and sensors. Then the second chunk of the year, we're gonna add gamification to the process and add our VFD modules module. And towards the end of the year, we have our analog outputs and actuators module. So I'm gonna break off for a second here and just quickly show you the new training module. This is the training system. When I log in here, it's a very simple interface. In here, I know as a student or as an employee, I have access to 6 modules. They are sequenced in a row where that's how I should consume them, and that's how I should train. So I should finish my TEC first, then control circuit. And here I can quickly, with one button, click launch the module that I want to actually play with. Oops, sorry. And then the other thing that's really cool on the side here is that we start with customization. So here I can click on my account and I'm taken straight into our web portal where I can change my password, change my name, modify things. I can purchase, I can get my documentation, etc. So everything is being done in a very simple structure here, where there's just one place for you to go, and then from that one place you can get help, you can get resources, etc. And of course, I launched that TEC, and then I can just quickly get in here and get started. And some of you may have not seen the current look and feel. That is our newest look and feel. We released that maybe a few months ago. And so if you are on the old experience, we invite you to please contact us, and we can upgrade you to the current experience. I did not want to spend a ton of time today on this. I just quickly wanted to show you what we were doing. Quickly though, here in the future, as we add new modules, it will just pop in here. if we update these modules, be it add faults, or let's say we add additional functionality, it will auto-update itself. And that makes it easier for you to deploy across plants or across school campuses, etc. So just simplify that for yourself and for the IT group. So I'm just going to go back to my presentation here and kind of discuss where we're going. Like I said, sensors, that's the first module that we will be talking or releasing soon. I'm not sure if you can see that. You can see that. All right, perfect. So what is being covered in that module? It's a 420 milliamp loop. We're going to have a bunch of common sensors in there, from thermocouple to humidity sensors to light sensors, etc. We're also going to introduce transmitters, which means we're going to teach people how to operate them, how to scale them, and so on. And also, our current PLCs are not analog, so we're going to add that. So you're going to learn how to read ladder diagrams and how to deal with analog inputs from a ladder diagram point of view. Also, in this module, we're going to add some learning on how to convert from analog to digital. So there's a bunch of new learning components in there, but also like everything we do with Simutech, there's the troubleshooting component of that, where you actually go and practice and learn by actually hands-on experience. And following that, just a quick teaser here for the VFDs and for the conveyor belt. The VFDs, both is going to be theory components there, how to set up and configure a VFD, how to troubleshoot the most common VFD faults. There's going to be 2 motors in there. So there's a permanent magnet motor, and our current 3-phase motor will kind of make a comeback and also be included in that. And then towards the end of the year, which is our analog outputs and actuators, which is really a conveyor belt scene, that's the best way to describe it. We're going to introduce mechanical faults in there, and you'll be able to troubleshoot pneumatics and a full line. Basically, all the modules that we've introduced before will kind of get assembled into a grand scene. So we're looking forward to releasing those 3 modules. Wanted to kind of quickly share what our I'm not sharing, or what's going on. Sorry, I'm being told that my slides are not being shared. So I'm sharing. Okay, so actually, just let me ask, are we able to see? Can you ask? Ask Deborah. Anyhow, do you have any questions in the meantime, or let's just, as we check to see if we have any mechanical, non-mechanical. Are you able to see, Andre?
No, I'm presenting.
You're not. How is that not presenting?
I'm presenting. Okay, there you go.
Okay, sorry. I think you can see now. So just quickly, I wanted to show a quick screenshot of where we are going from an admin portal point of view. This is going to be the new course manager. So everything will be in the cloud. Way more access to data and data tracking over time, and better ability to look at the behavior of some of the learning and adjust how you actually administer training for your staff. The sensors module, I thought I will take a minute to kind of share how things come together here. I thought it would be fun to do that. It starts with sketching out on a piece of paper what a scene might look like. We go from there where we kind of draw it out in 2D. And after we do that, there's a couple scenes you can do, the nighttime versus the daytime. If you start troubleshooting in the daytime and you've continued into the nighttime, then that maybe you've taken too long. But in general, there's a night scene and a day scene, because we're trying to do different simulations in there. But the cool thing, or where we're going, is that this scene is getting built in a 3D environment. So moving forward, we are starting to build everything in Unity. That means that all our modules will not be the 2D current format. That will be all done in 3D, and these are some early renderings of what that module is going to look like. And so we're excited about that. Eventually we'll come back and our existing modules be converted into this 3D world. And the cool thing about it is multi-platform, and it will allow for much easier use, and we're looking forward to that. And so what should you expect in the next little while? All our modules, all the new modules will at least be done in 3D. The experience will be quite immersive. You'll be able to look around and kind of know if there's a smell or if there's water on the floor or whatever. I mean, that's kind of interesting for us. The scenes are more comprehensive, and because of that, we can do more faults, more activity, more learning. But with the whole data move to the cloud and with all that stuff that we're doing right now, we are fundamentally changing how we assign faults. Today, we assign you faults kind of in a way sequentially as you learn. But like I said, this next generation wants everything custom. So the faults will be custom to your learning. And so if you're progressing at a fast pace, we will know that, and we will give you harder faults, versus if you are struggling with some concepts, we will try to point you in the right direction. And that will allow us to help you assess people's skills much better. And so we look for the assessment modules, the assessment side of the modules to also change. And everything will become data-driven. And so it's a new way to challenge user. Again, with gamification, you can see certain levels reach and create, badging and things to keep the end user coming back and engaged, and as well a better way to understand how people are learning and how to handle their learning experience. So that's what you can look forward to in the next year or so. We make this available to our customers who are on our current licensing. So if you're interested in that, please contact our sales team or contact us through our support line and so on. But with that, I will take any questions. And if you wanted me to kind of go back and take a look at some of the functionality in the training system that's live now, and you can go ahead and download it if you want to from our website, or questions about the scenes or the modules, I'm happy to take them.
Thank you so much, Samer. So yes, as Samer says, if you have a question, please submit it right now into the folder. But also, we did have one request, Samer. If you could go back to the admin screen.
Okay, let me do that. 1 second. Wait, let me get my screen. This is my admin slide, this one.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, that one. Yeah, and then onto that one, and then onto the 3D mock-ups. I think some of those, yeah, those are really cool to look at. And just wanted to see those again.
Yeah. So just quickly to kind of give you a quick tour today. One of the benefits of our software is that the ability to get data on how people are performing. We have a lot of reports available today, individual progress reports, but we also have summary reports. And what we're trying to do with the new admin portal is to actually add more summary data, but also add progress over time. So that new functionality will be coming soon.
Wonderful. Now, we do have a question from one of our viewers. They want to know when the 3D will be available to customers, the 3D products.
Yeah. So the 3D. So first of all new modules that we are working on will be available in 3D as we release them. So if I go back to the slide that had the release schedule over time, there's three modules slated for next year. We are right now in the design phase. So how it gets assembled here, there's a bunch of design components that have to happen, but also there's a lot of back-end engineering and math that need to happen, because as you take a meter reading, that has to get translated into some measurement and then displayed on screen, right? So we're working hard on that right now. We are hoping to get the first module out in the first third chunk of the year. So let's say March, April, we're doing our best to get it out for that time frame. And then we are going to most likely start looking for beta testers, I would say February. And so if anybody's interested in being a beta tester and helping us out, please let us know, and we can certainly get you to play with it.
Good to know. That's exciting. What an exciting invite. So another question here. Could you talk a little bit more about the gamification aspects of where we're going, or where in the future Simutech the training system will be? How gamification will really play a key role in learning in the future?
Yeah. So that's kind of, I was going to quickly go back to this slide to kind of talk about it. one thing that we do not do today is we don't provide the managers or the users the ability to see where they are compared to others in the system, like not necessarily at the same plant or the same company, but system-wide, right? And I think it would be helpful to provide that data, also to provide how you are improving over time. So different ways we can do that. We can do that through badges that get unlocked when you achieve a certain knowledge level, let's put it this way. But there's also today, I don't know if many people know, like we have in our faults, we have our basic, intermediate, and advanced. And then actually, in many cases, there are secret levels and there are genius levels. And if you manage to do enough troubleshooting, you get to unlock additional scenes and stuff like that. We already been doing gamification, but we're looking more to point people to not just the basic training, but to get them coming back over and over again as we dish out new faults or as we add secret scenes and whatever. That's also part of that gamification of education, because we want it to be fun, and we want to try to allow for badging, but allow for people to know where they stand, but also make it fun.
Cool. Sounds really fun. Actually, sounds really interesting. And just another of your panel or viewers had a question about the VFDs. When are those going to be available?
Yeah. So I'm just going to go back to my little. Oops, where is it? Here we go. Yeah. So we have started speccing VFDs. An email went out, I think a month ago or so, asking customers or prospects for feedback on what they would like to see. So we're assembling all that information right now. So we will start working on the development of that module shortly after we finish the sensors. And so we think that will be, I'm hesitant to put a hard date on that one, because actually VFDs are quite complex because they vary in size and they vary in complexity. And so we're trying to figure out the right, not only the right scenes, but the right types of VFDs and the types of things that we want to include in the learning. But we're hoping that, let's say June, July-ish is when we would get the VFDs out.
Wow, so soon.
We're working hard here. Everybody's working super hard on everything from design to engineering to get this is a very aggressive timeline for sure. And we were hoping to get this out to our customers as soon as we can.
Of course, yeah, of course. So another question here. So will all the current modules be in 3D in the future, or just some of them? How will that work?
Okay, so if you have the current modules, they're in 2D and they will continue to be in 2D until we're done adding these 3 new ones. Then in 2020, the year after, we're hoping to circle back and convert those as we add new ones. Switching platforms, so we're switching to this Unity platform that's quite complex in its own right. And so we want to make sure that we do them in a gradual process. So our first go at it is to add the new modules in 3D, and we'll come back and do the other ones.
Gotcha. So eventually they will all be available.
Yeah. So I can't promise them for 2019. I mean, okay. Maybe something will come up and we will do them if we are ahead of schedule. That's not the intent. The intent is to, from the single training system that I showed earlier today, you'll be able to launch all your modules. Some of them will be 2D and some of them will be 3D Unity.
Understood. So Sam, you had mentioned the skills gap study that got released this month, actually, and it was kind of made a little bit of waves in sort of the manufacturing world, because really we knew the skills gap was an issue with the lack of available skilled workers and possibly interest in going into manufacturing, and then with the baby boomers retiring, as you mentioned. But it seemed like the numbers just it was worse than thought, really, with the over 2 but under 3 million possibly jobs going unfilled in the next decade, in manufacturing specifically. So that's a lot of people to train. So I was wondering if you could kind of give me your thoughts on how you feel simulation-based training, what kind of role that'll play with trying to bridge this gap.
Yeah, and in a way, part of it is why we wanted to launch that new training system as a single install, right? So the cool thing about it is that for us, the training starts before you hire the employee. Because you already have a lot of internal knowledge of how troubleshooting should happen and so on. And you probably have some benchmarks, but good training and good starts with good hiring. And so, what we're trying to do is to help the customers from the assessment stage before the employee actually shows up to work. And so if you're able to deliver to the candidate a way to get assessed and make sure you hire the right person, then you are, as a company, likely to close that skills gap faster, because you're able to identify people who are going to work out, because you know how that relates to your internal benchmarks. But when they come in, they're already kind of seen the system that we have, and with simulation, you actually learn much faster than if you're going through e-learning, where you're just going through screens, for example. You can only retain so much, but if you're actually using hands-on experience and cover so many scenarios, you're able to get that knowledge, retained much better and much faster. So we would like to be able to help our customers before they bring the candidate in, and then carry them through their experience. And like I said, we have so many different scenarios in the system, and like I think with the sensors module, there's 50 or 60 faults being worked on right now. So, and then add VFDs and so on, like you have a very large library of scenarios that are based on things that happen in real life every day. And so we're able to kind of help bridge that skills gap with that training.
Awesome, awesome. And what I really like too is all the products are sort of following the journey that manufacturing is undergoing right now, with increased automation, and then with the VFDs, with how they play a role in sustainability and efficiency in plants. So it's really great to see how the response to the needs of the manufacturing industry is really being met. So that's always really neat for me to see.
And we're in contact with customers like on a daily basis, and as we hear additional requirements or things have changed, like from 1998 when we launched our first module, things have changed a lot, and we have to adapt with technology change and also with our customers' needs.
Excellent, awesome. Well, I'm not seeing any more questions here, but of course, if you do have questions, you can always get in contact with us. But I'd really like to thank Sam Forsley for such an excellent look at the Simutech Multimedia's all-new Simutech Training System. And thank you for answering our questions and talking a little bit about the road ahead with learning with Simutech. We hope that all of you found this demonstration valuable and educational, and we really like to thank you for taking the time out of your day to view this. We will be sending out a recording of this after today's session, and that'll be for you to view at your convenience. So thank you again, and have a really great day. Thank you.
Thanks, Deborah. Thanks, everyone.